Lewis and I now share an office. As a bigger, wider invite, I invite you all to come and say hello to us in our office at 10. And as a creative and a digital person, I've probably one of the strongest connections I've had for a while with someone who understands the group and the network of people and sharing. And so he's got a lot to give, this guy.
So yeah, a little bit about me, just a designer, graphic designer, do loads of branding. So I spent 15 years in the ad industry, and it's one of the few industries that actually does encourage people collaborating, even if it's in a sort of confined way. So they encourage people to work as teams, and so us at a team partnership, we usually call it a team. And the reason being, you used to have a traditional art director, you used to have a copywriter, and that's changed quite a bit. But essentially, they know that it's better to have two brains working together than just someone sitting, staring out the window or staring at a wall going, what we're going to do, kind of thing. So that goes on to my first point, which is, one and one always equals three. And it just does. Whether it's a group of people coming together, it just does. And we used to do weird things like we'd go for walks. If we're in London, we used to be by the British Museum, so we'd walk around the British Museum and just talk and not be stuck in an office. And it's just like finding different ways to collaborate and trying to find out what your vibe is. Do you need to go for a walk? Do you need to go down to the pub? Do you need to, whatever it is. But if you can get the conversation flowing, whatever happens, it will be better than if you were doing it on your own. And that's just a fact, basically. And there's lots of great people who do great things on their own, but it just works. So it goes on to my next one, which is 50-50, which is knowing the rules of collaboration. And there are no strict rules on collaboration, it's just the rules that you make up. So the ones that you agree. So work trusting people, and trusting the people you're with. Also knowing the people that you're collaborating with. Sometimes it's really interesting to collaborate with people you don't know, because through that collaboration process you start discovering stuff about each other. Sometimes it's great to collaborate with people you know really well, because you almost think, that's it, you're going to go in this direction, I'll go in this direction, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's always going to be better, but there is always a subtle power play in play there. And you end up with having to leave your ego at the door in every instant. You have to leave your ego at the door. You can't be fighting for ideas. You can defend an idea with each other, you can negotiate it, you can compromise, but you have to accept that when you're in that process of collaboration, that you have to abide by the rules that you've given yourselves. And one of my rules is that we're allowed to talk about anything, especially when I'm collaborating with new people, say new or something. I'll say, nothing's off limits, we're not going to go explicitly correct, this is just the way it is. Because we don't have open conversations, especially in things like advertising and marketing, when you're judging people and you're trying to divide people into sets of people that might be interested in what you're talking about, then you have to be able to just go deep on everything all the time, basically. But then that comes to my next point, which is democratic autocracy, which is someone at some point has to make a decision, and that's fine. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, we're going to try to work to a point, we get in a group, find something, whatever it is we get there, we'll agree that it's all right. Sometimes you have to say that's as good as it's going to be now. So you have to say that's it now. You know, it could be better in 3 months or whatever. But yes, you again within your rules, you can decide who gets to make what decisions at what time. Sometimes you might swap those roles. Sometimes there will be someone will appoint themselves as the person who's going to decide that thing. But especially when you're working in a commercial aspect, there's going to be a whole bank of people that's going to come in and kill your idea, or want to kill your idea for some reason. So if you can test it as much as you can and get through that stage of democratic autocracy and pull it apart yourselves and put it all back together, then you'll have a solid thing to work on. And then when you put it all together, you do end up with stuff like that, which is all comes through collaboration. And I'm the first one to say that I don't do many things on my own. It tends to be with other people. And so those ideas were better, or those visuals